Jessica. You're like, I'm just kidding. Please welcome Jessica. Yay. Thank you. Is that good? Yeah, perfect. I'm not going to make it too short. Perfect.
Thank you. Okay. Growing up, my twin brother loved playing pranks, and he even won the coveted Class Clown Award in high school. His portfolio: the time that he replaced all of the salt in the salt shaker with sugar and ruined our family dinner. Pretty harmless. Then there was the time that he mixed together flour and water and spread it into the shape of a stain on our basement couch, and then told our mom he had discovered it after my boyfriend was over for movie night. A little bit riskier. And then there was the time that he TP'd over 10 houses in a night, including some of our teachers, and nearly got himself arrested. It was clear that his rope was starting to fray, and not long after that, he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And all of the jokes and the humor and the pranks, they weren't just fun and games. They were his cover. And yet, whenever I needed support, despite what he was going through at the time, he always managed to show up for me. Like the time that I was driving around our hometown, and I'm sorry to say it, another car accident story, because I got in a little fender bender, and I pulled over to the side of the road, and my heart was racing. And just then, my flip phone rang, and I picked up, and it was my twin brother. And he was like, "Jess, are you okay? I just had this weird feeling that something was wrong." And I was like, "That's fucking crazy," because I just got into an accident. And I am okay, but would you mind picking me up and like maybe not telling mom? And this became our favorite family legend, because anytime we met someone new and we told them that we were twins, one of the first questions we'd always get is whether or not we had any special psychic powers. And I would always point to this story as proof that we did. I literally talked about this so much, I coined a new term for it. I called it our twin tuition. And I stood proudly on this foundation. Fast forward into our 30s, and my brother and I are living in different cities. And one night, I realized I hadn't talked to him in a minute, and I just had this feeling that I needed to call him. And so I did. And when I got him on the phone, he wasn't his normal light self. Instead, he was speaking really quickly, and he was saying paranoid things like he thought the government might be spying on him. And I knew immediately what this was. He was experiencing a severe manic episode, and I could tell that he was in trouble. And so I dropped everything, and I flew to see him. And when I showed up, I realized that he had run out of his medications, and he hadn't slept in several days. And I knew that any step that I took could tip us over the edge. And so I had to move slowly. I called a psychiatrist, and I got his refill, and I fed him, and I sat with him to calm him down until he was finally able to fall asleep. And to this day, this is the finest line that I have ever walked: loving someone who wasn't truly themselves and hoping that they'd be able to find their way back. A few days later, my brother gets serious, and he tells me that he has something important to share. And I think, finally, a moment of clarity. Instead, he looks at me and he says, completely deadpan, "Do you remember that time in high school that you got into that car accident and I called you with a premonition?" And I was like, "Do I remember? It's only the foundation of our entire relationship." And he was like, "Well, so you see, about that day, my friend Derek happened to be driving by, and he saw you on the side of the road, and he called to tell me, and then I called you." I'm sorry, what? 20 years? 20 years I've been peddling twin telepathy to literally anyone who will listen. And this whole time, this entire shared reality around our special bond was Derek Loy. And he was like, I know, it started as a joke and I wanted to tell you, but then I could see how important it was to you and I just didn't want to ruin the magic." Naturally. A few more days go by, and my brother is starting to emerge from this fog. And like many people who go through an episode like this, he doesn't remember most of the things that he said or did during this time. And as I'm getting ready to leave, he looks at me and says, "Jess, how did you know I needed your help?" And I looked back at my sweet, sweet twin brother, my closest confidant, and the man who lied to me for over half of our adult lives. And I realized something important in that moment, that whether this myth was true or not wasn't really what mattered, because our bond was special because we continued to show up for each other in the moments where it really mattered. And he was coming out of a really vulnerable place. The rope underneath him was still swinging. And I knew that what he needed in this moment wasn't truth. He needed a reason to believe. And if the magic had gotten us this far, I couldn't be the one to break the spell. So I just looked back at him and I said, I don't know. Guess it's just that twin tuition we've always had. Because two can play that game. And because just when you think the rope is going to snap underneath you from all the pressure, it actually pulls taut and it holds. Thank you.
Come on. Nice.